Morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Casey. We're going to talk about market strategies, what's going on in market conditions. Today, we're going to talk about the jet stream. What the heck is it? How do I get in it? How do I stay in it? And what happens if I fall out of the jet stream, right? How does this affect me? And why do your neighbors need to be in the jet stream if they're selling their house? So first of all, let's talk about what the jet stream is. The jet stream is where everything is easy, right? We all know that one person that they always get tickets to the Redskins game and free tickets to concerts and having a ball and everything is great and, really not a care in the world. And then there are people that are stuck in the mud, right? Where nothing's going right and there's always a problem, blah, blah, blah. Well, in real estate, the jet stream are the listings that get up into that area where they are in high demand. They get multiple contracts. They have bidding wars going on. The prices sometimes come in 50, 100, 200,000 over list price. We've had as much as 280,000 over list price. There are no inspections in the jet stream. There's no appraisals in the jet stream. Most of the transactions are at least 50% cash. Settlements can be short. Rentbacks can be long. Free rentbacks can be long. This is an area that we're trying to achieve whenever we list a house. The alternative to that happening is a home that sits on the market and sits and sits. There's tremendous anxiety with the seller. When you finally do get a contract, it's going to be a hard one. It's going to have inspections. It's going to be your only contract. So really, you are at the will of the buyer. You are what we call stuck in the mud. You're going to have to go through inspection that could cost $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $7,000. You're going to maybe have a contract kick out because of a home inspection. Then you got to go back on the market and start all over again. I don't even want to talk about it because we don't get there that often. It's rare that we're ever there. But in reality, in Fairfax County, only 29% of the homes are in the jet stream, which means that 71% of the sellers in Fairfax County, and don't laugh, Loudon, because you're 29%, and that's your success rate. And the rest of them are all 30, 31, somewhere right in there. So basically 70% of the people in today's market are in the mud, not in the jet stream, right? So let's talk about that. Our job as realtors, your job as a seller, is to get as much money as we possibly can with as little hassle as possible, with as little risk. Profit up, risk down, right? Okay, so how do we do that, right? So we have 4 protocols that we stick with and make sure that we adhere to. And we only have 2 rules. Don't break protocol. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. So whenever somebody tries to break a protocol, you'll see our team kind of go, no, we can't do that. We just can't do that, right? So there's a couple things that we need to do. The first thing we need to do is we need to be realistic about market conditions. What is happening? How does interest rates, rising or falling, affect inventory, which rises and falls? And how does that affect pricing, which rises and falls? And we need to know where we are in the cycle of seasonality, inventory, interest rates. All of these things are integral on understanding where we are in the market today. I know your neighbor sold for 1.5. That was in May. Prices may have adjusted. It may not be 1.5. It may be 135. And the seller told me, he said, well, I don't like 135. And I said, well, if you don't like 135, you're going to hate 125. Because actually the house is worth 1.1. It's just lack of inventory has driven those prices up. So we need to be realistic, first of all, with what the market conditions are, okay? The second thing we need to do is be realistic about the pricing, right? We need to understand, where are we? What is the range, okay? So if you take any range, let's say it's $1 million to $1.2 million, and you look at all those houses, some homes sold for 102% of assessment. Some sold for 128% of assessment. So the key is understanding what is the middle? What is the mean? What is the customary value of the home, right? Then once we have the customary value of the home, and this is all in the customary value, we need to move what we think the value of that house is up or down based on the lot, based on the condition. Is it transitional? Is it traditional? Have you updated the kitchen, the bathroom? What are the upgrades in the house? So all of these things determine where we think this house is going to sell for. Now, that's not the important part. The important part is understanding, where do we list the house at? Where is the buyer pool? Okay, where is that buyer pool? But again, like I said, homes can sell from 122 to 128, 130% of assessment. Where we go in that really depends on how your house looks, right? So being realistic on where we are with that pricing, very, very important. Now, how do homes move up and down in that scale? Really simple. What does the paint look like? What is your hardware? Do you look dated? How are you going to look in pictures? Is it dark? Is it, do you have 2007 hardware on the doors? Do you have 2007 lights over your kitchen table or your dining room? Very important. So we are experts. Our team is really, I credit all of our agents they've really done a great job on what is the most cost-effective way to get that house from here to here. And if you're customary, how do we move it up into the upgraded section? If you're dated, how do we move it into the customary section? So the whole deal here is moving this up and down on the third protocol, which is home prep, how you prep the home. Now, there are agents out there, and I call them liquidation agents. They don't want to do the work. To be honest with you, I don't want to do the work. Nobody wants to do the work. Seller doesn't want to do the work. Seller doesn't want to paint the house. Seller doesn't want to swap the hardware, right? I don't want to do it. I don't even want to recommend it, but you have to. And there's reason for that. Because if I were to spend $10,000, and I know this is a fact, this is not, guessing. If I spend $10,000 fixing the house up, I'm getting $100,000 to $125,000 back. And we're going to stay in the jet stream. And if you have a home that's dated or doesn't look good or that, you're not in the jet stream. You're in the mud. You're going to be on the market for a while. Right now, is that consequential? Soon it will be, because the market is changing. And if we go back to protocol number 1, knowing where the market is, that market's changing, and everybody's going to be able to watch it over the next couple of months, and I'll be here to talk about it. But we are not liquidation realtors. We are about spend the $7,000 to $10,000, get it to that highest and best offer that puts it in the jet stream. That means multiple offers, bids, no contingencies, no home inspection, no none of that, right? That means we have a nice clean sale, we have backup contracts and all that stuff. So that's a part of the home prep that everybody needs to do. The other part, the last one, which is the most important one, and this is what's precipitated this jet stream and all of this. Only 29% of the homes sell in the first 7 days. If you don't sell in the first 7 days, you're going in the mud, or the chances are very good you're going in the mud, right? Which is sits for a while, downward pricing, tough contracts, home inspections. So that many homes are affected. Let me go back really quick to the home prep and say one of the most important things you need to do in the home prep that we do. We have a home inspector. We have an inspector come in, a seller's home inspector, somebody that just wants to make sure, is it a good working condition? Do we have any really problems? Do we have any cracks? Do we have any beams up, or any broken beams? Is the roof, the trusses, the electrical, heating, cooling, plumbing, is everything sound in this? Is this a sound house or not? I'm not talking about nitpicking home inspector. That's a buyer's home inspector. I'm talking about, are there any real problems with this house? We got any issues? We got any safety problems? We have any moisture? We have any leaks? These are the important things. So in that home prep period, we go ahead and we just get a home inspection with a seller's home inspector. Bob Lamb, anybody wants his name, give me a call. I'll send you all his contact information. All realtors should use it. No listing should be on the market without a home inspection. We had 2 out of 90 decline. 2. One home inspection cost $30,000 to $33,000 seller. The other one, the buyers asked for $57,000 worth of work to be done to the house. So again, I'm going to go back and say, rule number 1, don't break protocol. Get your home inspection. Make sure you know where the market is. Do the pricing correctly. Prepare the home. Do the home inspection. We all good? Okay. So the home inspection is critical to keep you in the jet stream. If they inspect with their inspector, they're going to use terms like at or past its useful life. They are going to, they're going to rip that house to shreds. Now, should they rip the house to shreds and should they scare the buyer will opt out of the contract for whatever reason and just leave and go. Let's say another house came on the market even bigger and better than yours, better price. They can leave. They can just walk away. So I don't like home inspections. I don't want this sale to be at risk. All right. So that is the third protocol, the home preparation protocol. So we understand the market. We've understand the pricing. We've prepared the home. Now we're going to test the home. The fourth protocol is the predictive analysis. If 30% of the homes at Samson Properties are sold in the first 7 days, that number would double. That chance of success doubles if you just do the last protocol. Do the predictive analysis. During the 7-day period, do all of your marketing as much as you can, as great as you can. Make sure that you're going everywhere and you're on geofencing and Google Ads and da-da-da-da-da. You're pulling in people from other areas and other territories that aren't even looking in your market area. All that wonderland, all that magic happens during coming soon. That's when it happens. So then you got to listen to the market. Is anybody coming? Well, come on. If you do all of that magic and only one person is coming to see the house, you are at the wrong pricing level. Protocol. You must drop the house if you're going to drop it. And again, let's talk over $800,000. If you're going to drop the price, you drop it $50,000 minimum. Minimum. I mean, over $2 million, the pricing points where the buyer pools are is $2 million, 2.25, and 2.5. We'll talk about that in a second. But normally it's at the $50,000 price, and that goes all the way up to $2 million. Okay. There's so many examples of a home that goes on at 1.85, doesn't get anybody coming. Nobody's coming. So I go to the seller. I say, we got to drop it to 1.799. You said it was worth 1.9. It's like, I know I did, but that's not where the buyer pool is. We need to get to 1.799. Okay, drop it to 1.799. We got $2 million. I know I said it was worth 1.9. Somebody bid $2 million. And we got 100,000 over what I thought it was worth. This happens it just happened last weekend. I mean, 2 weekends ago, we were at 1.85. We dropped it to 1.8. We got 1.955. I mean, it happens every weekend. It happens every weekend. So the predictive analysis is analyzing the buyer pool and knowing, am I at the right buyer pool or am I not, right? I have people that get stuck in the mud too. Can't avoid it because they won't listen. I say you need to move to this price. They say, no, I think we'll stay at our price. You're in the mud. And you're going to be there for a good 60 days. It seems like 2 years, but it's 60 days. Okay. So, and I can't force anybody to do anything. If they won't move, they won't move, and that's fine. Thank God 93% of the people agree and list and do whatever we say. And those people are rewarded by staying in the jet stream and making a lot of money. I would say that by following the advice of the predictive analysis probably would make somebody, the difference between doing it right and doing it wrong is probably about $150,000. So it's a $150,000 decision for most people when they say, Do I take the advice or do I not take the advice? It's a big deal. So I work very hard. We work very hard. My agents work very hard to make sure that we don't let people make a mistake. We don't let them fall out of the jet stream. We don't let them get them in the mud. We make every effort to prevent that, and successful most of the time. So the bottom line is 93% of our homes will stay in that jet stream, that sweet spot, that wonderful place where everything moves smooth and you can set your clock on when we're going to settlement. I went into a seller and he said, "Well, I'm selling on my house on April the 15th." And this was March. This was well into March, like March 10 or something. I said, "Fine. Set your settlement for the afternoon because we're settling on this house in the morning." And he seemed a little startled because it was going to go for $2 million plus. This is going to be a big one. I said, no. You just schedule your settlement in the afternoon. We will be there in the morning settling on this house. And after he did exactly what we asked him to do, which is perfect. Got a bid $287,000 over list price, had 7 contracts, had no home inspection, all cash, settled $2.28 million, settled the morning that he bought that house. So really it is so predictable. As long as everybody follows the protocol, you can pick the day you want to settle, pick the time you want to settle, and we're going to make it to that settlement table. Anytime, give me 30 days. But that's how it works. That's how important the jet stream is. So when you hear me talk about the jet stream, and I say, this price is going to keep us in the jet stream, this price is going to put us in the mud. Okay. All my magic, all of the magic, all of our marketing, all of our skill we have with contract negotiation and how we not trick people, but how we pull out the highest price, all that's gone. That happens when there's 5 buyers. When there's only 1 buyer, you don't have a lot of leverage. There's not a lot you can do. So we need to really focus on understanding the market conditions. And that's why I'm here. That's why I do Coffee with Casey. The most recent one I showed was the market dynamics of how the market works since 2008, right? And you got to throw stuff out before then because it got weird. So how does it work? When interest rates go down, inventory goes up. When inventory goes up, prices get soft. When interest rates go up, inventory goes down. Inventory goes down, prices go up. It happens over and over. It happens cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle. So recently, 2020, 2021, as interest rates started to rise, the inventory started to go down, and interest rates really rose to highest in 2 decades, or actually the highest I can remember. And I pulled in the market in 1981 when interest rates were 17.5%. But as rates went up, inventory went into the tank. I'm talking 50% of where it was in its normal time period. Now interest rates are coming back down. Inventory is coming back up. So we need to understand the dynamics of where they are. Yes, interest rates are coming down right now. Yes, inventory is going up. Vienna's was up 59% this last 30 days. So yes, we are getting reaction. There's not a lot of inventory. There's not a heavy amount of inventory because it's recovering from a real terrible era. So, still fine. Sellers are still in control. Sellers are still getting a 15 or 20% premium on their houses over the value line. So that's all fine. The market conditions are fine. But I'm just going to tell you this. I went back the last time interest rates really fell and inventory really went up, right? When it went up. The last time inventory really went up was 2015, the end of 2015, 2016. Most times you want to sell in January, February, March, and April. Pretty good time to sell. In 2016, the homes that were placed on the market, and I averaged, I guess, 3,500 square feet that was built in 1980s. That group of houses came on the market. Their average days on market was 84. The average Now, this is because the inventory rose. The inventory spiked. And when the inventory spiked, prices come down. Market goes into the mud, right? So what happened in the spring of 2016 was homes were on the market at an average of 84 days. They got 56, 57,000 less than they were asking for, which really dictates a very, very tough market, right? Very tough market. There was only 4 out of 50 houses, I think, that sold in the first week. So I'm not saying that's coming. I'm just saying that I'm the guy sitting in the crow's nest that have been blindsided in, all these cycles that happen the first couple, and then you start getting wise to what's happening, and you start sitting in that crow's nest watching the market conditions. Where are interest rates? Where's inventory? Where's pricing? Where's all of this? You need to know that in order to stay in the jet stream. If you don't want to get in the mud. You don't want to get in the mud. So that's where we keep our clients. Now you're going to start hearing some things about Casey Samson Team. If you're in Vienna and you're driving along, you're going to see some trees up and all this. There's going to be a Christmas spectacular in this office that you won't believe. I mean, it's taking shape right now. People can see things through the windows as they're driving by. It is going to be wild this Christmas. And in order to do something this big, they have to get started early. So you're going to start, even though it's October. But I will tell you that we'll have a couple of pop-ups. We'll have a client event that goes on here. But you definitely want to get your kids in to see this. This will be the talk of the town when it comes. This is not something that anybody's going to want to miss, okay? It'll start right after Thanksgiving. My name is Casey Samson. You've been listening to Coffee with Casey, and I've been talking about staying in the jet stream. Life in the jet stream, good. Life in the mud, bad. We keep everybody in the jet stream. If you need me, Casey at CaseySamson.com, or call me at 703-508-2535. We'll see you again next week on Coffee with Casey. Bye now.